Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 165 million years. However, there were many animals that lived before, during, and after that were just as formidable. We've picked 72 that dominate the others. In this show, we will talk about these dangerous animals, including when they lived, what they ate, their weaponry, and how humans would fare if these creatures were still alive. From the largest venomous animal of all time, to birds that could take out animals 30 times their weight, to a pterosaur that could kill a T-Rex, this is 72 Dangerous Animals, Prehistory. Welcome to the Clash of Titans. Epicyon grew up to 8 feet long and weighed up to 370 pounds. It lived 20 to 5 million years ago in North America. Epicyon, meaning more than a dog, was the largest canid of all time and had a wide range of prey that it was capable of taking down, including prehistoric camels, rhinos, horses, peccaries, and pronghorn. Epicyon had many competitors, however, such as Machairodonts, Barbarophilus, bears, and other bone-crushing dog species. Epicyon had jaws and teeth specialized for crushing bones, allowing it to get to the marrow and additional nutrients. Its skull resembled a lion's rather than a wolf's. Epicyon hunted in packs, however it could not run for long distances while maintaining speed like modern wolves. Rather, it shot forward with bursts of speed once its pack had surrounded a prey item. The pack closed in and killed its prey by going for the neck or the face to deliver a fatal bite. A pack of Epicyon could take out a rhinoceros. A human stands no chance. Epicyon takes first place for now. Is it deadly enough to hold it against the longest venomous animal of all time? Paleophis grew up to 40 feet long and weighed up to 600 pounds. It lived 56 to 34 million years ago in Africa. Now I know what you're thinking. We've already had the largest venomous animal of all time on this show, and you would be correct. Megalania is the heaviest venomous animal of all time, therefore the largest. But now I present to you Paleophis, the longest venomous animal of all time. Paleophis colossius was the second longest snake to ever live after Titanoboa. Unlike other snakes, Paleophis was warm-blooded, an adaptation that allowed it to be more active. At 40 feet long, the snake was an apex predator capable of feeding on anything smaller than it. While it is not confirmed if Paleophis was really venomous, as its skull was never preserved, it should be heavily inferred that it was, as all modern sea snakes are venomous, and they are venomous for a good reason. In open water, prey can easily escape from a relatively slow-moving predator, such as a snake. A venomous snake, however, needs one bite on its prey and the prey will die relatively quickly instead of getting away. Modern sea snakes are among the deadliest snakes in the world, killing a human in anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. Kill time on a small fish would be mere seconds. Paleophis took out small whales. Dorodon and even young Basilosaurus could have been targeted by this behemoth. Paleophis needed strong enough venom to prevent these whales from fighting back or killing it. As with modern sea snakes, biting things larger than them to defend themselves, Paleophis likely also used venom to defend itself from the few predators that it had, such as adult Basilosaurus and large sharks. If a modern sea snake can easily take out a human with a single bite, it is likely that Paleophis had venom strong enough to cripple and kill the largest and strongest of basilosaurs. Now, imagine a toxin that powerful being injected into a human. Just as with a modern sea snake killing a fish, you would be dead in seconds. Another thing unique about Paleophis is that if it is like modern sea snakes, it would have been able to take chunks out of prey as well as swallow it whole. Most snakes don't have the right teeth or jaw structure to tear chunks of meat apart while biting, but sea snakes are capable of taking bites out of prey items. Imagine this snake biting off your arm, leg, or head and swallowing it, with the rest of your body soon to follow it down this beast's throat. There is no competition between these two beasts. Paleophis takes first place, pushing Epicyon second. Up next, the largest amphibian of all time. Prionosuchus grew up to 31 feet long and weighed up to 4,000 pounds. It lived 299 to 272 million years ago in Brazil. Prionosuchus, the saw crocodile, was actually not a crocodile and was instead the largest amphibian to ever exist. While it wasn't a crocodile by biology, it was a crocodile by nature. This massive amphibian filled the niche of the crocodilians as well as phytosaurs long before they existed. Prionosuchus would wait at the river's edge and lunge out to grab prey drinking from the shore. It also fed on various fish, including primitive sharks and lungfish. Prionosuchus had a long, thin snout resembling a gharial's or gar's. With a head over 5 feet long, Prionosuchus could slash its head sideways through the water to snatch a fish swimming nearby. Prionosuchus may not know exactly what to make of a human in its natural habitat, but it should eventually come to the conclusion that you are prey. Whether with a quick strike at the water's edge or by creeping up behind you in the water, Prionosuchus would take you out. A death roll would finish the job. Prionosuchus had small limbs, and along with it being an amphibian, this is evidence to support it spent almost all of its time in the water. Prionosuchus had one major weakness that crocodiles do not have, however. Crocodiles are reptiles, which means that they can survive on land for long periods of time without requiring water on their skin to keep them from drying out. Prionosuchus, like other amphibians, must stay wet to survive, so it could never travel far from water. Another huge disadvantage for Prionosuchus was that, as an amphibian, its eggs must be also laid in water, and the young must hatch out in the water in order to survive. An amphibian the size of Prionosuchus could only survive prehistory's timeline for so long before dying out. After Prionosuchus went extinct, the phytosaurs rose to be the dominant predators of their time. Prionosuchus's weaknesses put it below Paleophis and Epicyon on our list. We'll take third place for now. Incoming, the largest flying bird. Argentavis had a wingspan of 23 feet and weighed up to 160 pounds. It lived 9 to 6.8 million years ago in Argentina.
Argentavis was the largest flying bird of all time. While it didn't have the biggest wingspan, it was over twice as heavy as Pelagornis, which took the title of bird with the largest wingspan. Argentavis was very muscularly built and had strong legs and feet, giving it an easy time moving around while on the ground. Argentavis stood 6 feet tall and was 11.5 feet long. Every other winter, Argentavis would have laid 1 to 2 eggs, each weighing 2.2 pounds. Every few days, males and females would switch roles of sitting on the eggs and getting food. After 16 months, the babies would be fully independent. They weren't fully mature, however, until they were 12 years old. Argentavis had no predators, and the only Argentavis that died were from old age and disease. Argentavis spent most of its time in the air soaring, rather than flapping, and likely used thermal currents as well to keep it in the air. Argentavis relied on wind for takeoff, as its wings were too long to effectively flap until it was several feet off the ground. While Argentavis did have weak breast muscles, it was fully capable of flight, like modern condors. Argentavis flew high above its territory, scanning for carrion and live prey to kill. When it found something of interest, Argentavis dropped down towards the animal to feed. Unlike modern vultures, Argentavis was adapted to be an active predator that killed small animals as well as eating carrion. It was able to kill rodents, armadillos, and young ground sloths. It would swoop down on its prey and kill it with its hooked beak and then swallow it whole. When it wanted carrion, Argentavis was capable of scaring Thylacosmolus and terror birds from their kills by landing near them and spreading its wings to appear much more massive. Argentavis only required 11 pounds of meat per day. Argentavis would be fully capable of taking out a human using its huge beak and talons. It likely could carry a young human for a ways in the air. It would be easily strong enough to kick a human off a cliff to kill them, like modern lammergeiers do to cattle and mountain goats.
Argentavis could cause a much worse death than Prionosuchus. However, it is no match for Paleophis or Epicyon. It takes third place, pushing Prionosuchus to fourth. Up next, the largest crocodile of all time. Purusaurus maxed out at around 40 to 47 feet long and weighed up to 26,000 pounds. It lived 16 to 5.3 million years ago in South America, with newest estimates putting this crocodile up to 47 feet long based on a scaled-up broad-snouted caiman. Purusaurus was the supreme apex predator of its time. Nothing in its habitat could challenge it. Purusaurus ate literally anything and everything that it decided was large enough to sustain itself. It preyed on glyptodonts, ground sloths, and even Gryposuchus, which was featured earlier in our 72, as well as a range of smaller, but still large prey. Purusaurus had a bite force of up to 69,000 newtons, and could bite through the thickest of bones and armor without breaking any teeth. Purusaurus, like other crocodilians, would have waited in the water for an animal to come to the shore to drink, then grabbed it and pulled it into the water. With one massive chomp, its prey would be killed. It could do a death roll to tear its prey apart, or shake it violently to get it into swallowable-sized pieces. Purusaurus also could have attacked prey in the water, taking out river dolphins, stingrays, and other fish, as well as mammalian prey swimming at the surface. While Purusaurus only needed to eat 90 pounds of meat a day to survive, this was not on a daily scale. Rather, it ate something large every 3 to 10 days. While Deinosuchus and Sarcosuchus both reached similar sizes to the originally estimated 40 feet of Purusaurus, Deinosuchus didn't have as broad of a snout and had a thinner neck than Purusaurus, resulting in it being lighter, and Sarcosuchus had an even thinner snout than Deinosuchus and wasn't quite as large as originally proposed, resulting in Purusaurus being the largest crocodilian of all time, even before the addition of another 7 feet to its length. While they didn't live at the same time or place, there's no doubt about it that Purusaurus would absolutely destroy a T-Rex in a fight. A bite to the leg would cripple the Tyrant Lizard King, allowing Purusaurus to deliver a finishing blow, and it would eat T-Rex too. The attack wouldn't be defensive, it would kill it to eat it, whereas other apex predators killing each other do it to protect their territories, food source, or mates. Or they just avoid competition altogether to ensure that they live to see another day. But Purusaurus doesn't care. If Purusaurus sees you as a meal, that's what you're going to be. There is no escaping. There is only death. There are very few animals that this crocodilian couldn't kill, and you are not one of them. Purusaurus was a force to be reckoned with. An encounter would lead to certain doom for a human. While Paleophis could very efficiently take out one human at a time, Purusaurus had the power to crash an outdoor party and kill everyone who was attending. Its kills would also be much sloppier and gruesome than the giant snakes. Purusaurus takes first place, pushing Paleophis second, and Epicyon, Argentavis, and Prionosuchus to third, fourth, and fifth, respectively. Our final creature in the Clash of Titans is the largest macro-predator of all time. Mosasaurus grew up to 60 feet long and weighed anywhere from 40,000 to 172,200 pounds, depending on method of weighing. Educated guesses put it at around 30,000 to 40,000 max, but an estimate of a scaled-down mass-to-length ratio for a blue whale, which is an animal with a similar body plan, puts Mosasaurus at up to 172,200 pounds. Mosasaurus lived 82 to 66 million years ago, everywhere except for Australia. One of the most efficient and deadly killing machines of all time was Megalania. Put Megalania underwater, and what do you get? Mosasaurus. In fact, Mosasaurus has even been compared to monitor lizards in the past, and it is likely that its closest living relatives are indeed the monitor lizards. Mosasaurus even had a forked tongue. While Mosasaurus lacked venom, it made up for it with jaw strength. Biting down with a force of over 70,000 newtons, Mosasaurus topped even Purusaurus in jaw power. A major difference between Mosasaurus and all other reptiles, excluding the Tuatara, however, is that it could chew. Mosasaurus could bite down on a prey item such as a plesiosaur's neck and then slide its jaw forward, slicing the neck clean off if its initial bite didn't. Unlike other reptiles, Mosasaurus was warm-blooded, allowing it to reach faster speeds, be more active, and thrive in Antarctica. While it had a poor sense of smell, it didn't need it, as it was a sight hunter and used its extremely good vision to locate prey to disembowel. Mosasaurus fossils have been found on every continent except for Australia, providing insight into who was the top predator alive on Earth at the time. While Megalania ruled all of Australia in its time, Mosasaurus ruled everywhere except Australia in its time, proving that these two were the most superior apex predators of all time. Nothing messed with Mosasaurus. Even young were relatively safe, for the creatures feared that mommy Mosasaurus would wipe them from existence. If it existed and was in the water, it was prey for Mosasaurus. Mosasaurus left nothing uneaten. Mosasaurus was the top predator all over the globe for millions of years. In North America, any dinosaur swimming across the western interior seaway was a target. Tyrannosaurus rex stood no chance. A bite to the leg would break T-Rex's bones, and then Mosasaurus would pull T-Rex underwater to drown it. As far as I can tell, there is no direct fossil evidence showing a Mosasaurus preying on a T-Rex. However, in a weird way, that is likely proof that it did. In order for something to fossilize, it can't be eaten by a predator, as the bones would digest in the stomach and never be seen again. When prey that was eaten does fossilize, it's because the predator died and was buried quickly, preserving the prey item in its stomach. For example, the famous Zephyrus that died with a Gillicus in its stomach died immediately after swallowing the Gillicus, due to the smaller fish rupturing its organs. If a Mosasaurus snatched a T-Rex, the only way there would be evidence is if the Rex survived the encounter and died later of other causes, and then the bone preserved with either a Mosasaurus tooth embedded in it, or bite marks which were found that matched the Mosasaurus's teeth. And to be honest, there's next to a 0% chance that a T-Rex got away and made it back to the shore after being attacked. If, and that's a big if, Mosasaurus didn't succeed in bringing the tyrant down, other ocean predators would have finished it off. Tyrannosaurus may be the king of lizards on land, but put it in the water and Mosasaurus is the true tyrant lizard king. Mosasaurus did share some of its range with Tylosaurus and Prognathodon, but there were rarely conflicts, as the other Mosasaurs knew who was boss. Occasionally Mosasaurus attacked other Mosasauruses, but these conflicts rarely resulted in death. Rather, they grabbed each other by the snout like modern crocodiles do to each other. Mosasaurus had 4 different kinds of teeth, with 2 on the premaxilla, 14 to 16 on the maxilla, 14 to 15 on the dentary, and 8 on the roof of the mouth, called pterygoid teeth, on each side of its mouth. Not only was Mosasaurus an extremely deadly killer, but it was a great mother too. Mosasaurus gave live birth to fully functional offspring that were already efficient swimmers. The mother protected them for a while after birth. It is hypothesized that baby Mosasaurus could cry like baby crocodiles to alert their mother of a threat to them. Fossil evidence shows that mother Mosasauruses taught their babies how to hunt. What's really amazing, though, is that Mosasaurus' discovery in 1764 led to the concept of extinction and, in turn, evolution itself. When Mosasaurus was first described, it brought forth the idea that not all creatures that ever lived were still alive, as was commonly believed at the time. Its skull was described as resembling a monitor lizard's, but unlike any modern animal. This led to the realization that some species were no longer existent on Earth. Eventually, the concept of extinction brought along the idea that over time, some species in ancient times evolved to become the things we see today. All of this because of the first skull of Mosasaurus. Mosasaurus itself fell victim to extinction during the KPG extinction event, along with the non-avian dinosaurs, pterosaurs, other prehistoric reptiles, and the rest of the life forms that vanished in that time frame. There's literally nothing that can compete with this aquatic lizard. It takes the crown and eats it too. Purosaurus drops to second, with Paleophis, Epicyon, Argentavis, and Prionosuchus finishing in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, respectively. Mosasaurus moves on to our finalists. Next episode on 72 Dangerous Animals Prehistory. 2 primitive sharks clash with 2 ancient crocodiles and 2 deadly mammals.
In Brazil's Peru Basin during the late Cretaceous, dinosaurs had almost been outcompeted by crocodile relatives. The top predators came from a group called Barucikids, which convergently evolved with theropods in many ways, and there was even a small crocodilomorph with a shell like an armadillo.
In each episode, we will rank the creatures from 1 to 6 on a scale of how potentially dangerous these creatures would be to humans, and the winner of each episode will showdown with the other 11 finalists in the season finale to decide on which prehistoric creature was the ultimate human killing machine.